know you recently launched a new diabetes network. Can you tell us some more information about that?
Yeah, well, I'm a type 1 diabetic. I've been one since I was 15. I'm 46 now. And throughout those years, I've gone through every kind of treatment that you can have in diabetes for type 1. So I had the needle, I did the pump, I did the pen. And, through my journey, I've tried to get to my A1C at a 7. And that's where you're supposed to be healthy, at least a 7. And I've never been able to do that. Always been at a 10. And I'm the type of diabetic that pays attention to his diabetes, but I still live a somewhat normal, imperfect life. And I came across the Afrezza, which is an inhalable insulin, and I was able to get my A1 to a 7 fairly quickly. That's my dog. That's my emotional support. Governor, come on. I was able to get to a A1 7 fairly quickly, and at that point, I felt like I could lead by example and showcase that an imperfect person could live a normal life and showcase how. And diabetes is a lifestyle. It's a 24/7 thing. So it's not just about the medicine and the treatment of it. It's about how it affects the people around you, how you buy it, how it affects your food, your working out, and everything I've done as a diabetic. So from putting Jay-Z in the big game, Kanye West, Lee Daniels, Kevin Hart, all that time I was diabetic. And everything I've done independently, I've been diabetic doing it. So as a diabetic, I want other diabetics to know that doesn't stop you. It makes you a little more focused. It makes you stronger. And if I got it, it must be cool.
Very good. So tell me about, how was it when you first got diagnosed?
It was terrible. I thought I was dying because I didn't know what it was. I was 15 and I'd heard a lot of things about what you can get from being promiscuous. And I was promiscuous. So I thought that I was dying. I thought I got something that I couldn't cure. So at that point I thought my life was over. I didn't want to go to the doctor. I was just trying to work it out. But I lost 40 pounds.
Whoa.
And I was
At
sluggish.
15?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was sluggish, rumors in school, all that. And finally my mom was like, yo, you're going to the doctor. I was urinating a lot. I had no appetite. And when I went and he came back and said I was diabetic, I was happy, actually. I almost, the little energy I had, I jumped for joy because I felt like I had a second chance. And it really made me appreciate life. And it was like all I got, because when you feel bad for a month or two, all you want to do is not feel bad. You don't care what it is that's going to make you feel better. So the fact, and I thought that, I was like, this is the way I'm going to feel for the rest of my life. I didn't think there would be a cure for it or anything to make it better. So they were like, all you got to do is, give yourself and inject yourself, insulin. I was like, yes. So, it made me appreciate life a little more.
I realize a lot of patients don't realize how bad they feel until once they get diagnosed, they start insulin. They realize, oh, I was feeling pretty bad.
No, you know how bad you feel. You know how bad you feel.
Do you remember? Oh, you probably didn't have an A1C.
I didn't even care about it.
Do you remember what your?
I didn't really start being conscious of diabetes. I would take my shot at that time. The method was 2 shots a day.
Yes.
And you would mix it up. You had the old Dopamine needle.
And regular, right?
And you took it twice a day. And you would just try to time everything, but I would have severe reactions. And I'm sure I never checked my blood. I wasn't about all that. See, the thing about diabetes is it's a disease that kills you long term. Yes. So in the moment you don't really pay attention to it. You know what I mean? So as a kid, I had no real understanding of the future. So for the first 10, 15 years of me being diabetic, I didn't pay so much attention to it. And I really didn't know so much about it. I didn't understand carbs, and that's another reason why I felt it was important to do this network, because there's so many misconceptions. Every day I learned something new about diabetes. So as I get the information, I wanted to give it. But also because I'm a director and because I make movies and I'm sophisticated being able to make content, I can make a network that's just as good as any corporate. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And then, because I'm the person that it's about something that I'm affected by. It's my point of view. I'm able to, and I'm the one that's actually paying for it. I'm able to showcase what I want, how I want, and being that I have that power and that platform, that's what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm doing.
Okay. And did you have diabetes education? Do you remember when you first got diagnosed or after?
No, I wasn't paying attention to anything but myself. Okay. But not health-wise. I always had consciousness that I needed to take care of myself. And it was always something that was on my bucket list to get it together. I tried certain ways, there was a time with a lot of support. I would have chefs count my carbs and deliver my food, but it just wasn't sustainable. Okay. You know what I mean? And really with this Afrezza, it just made it so easy. It was like anyone can kick this if they have consciousness of how to kick it. A lot of what kills people is the fact that they just don't understand what to do not to kill themselves. And if they knew it, it would be really easy to adjust. And if they see someone else doing it, it makes it where they don't feel like, we all get dealt certain cards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to play them. And sometimes you're not supposed to love the challenges you get, but you got to stand up. You don't get given challenges for no reason. I think you're supposed to learn from it, and I think people are supposed to be able to learn from you. And when I compare my problems to other people's problems, my problems aren't so bad, and that's my perspective on it. So I hear about diabetes, depression, but I never had it. You know what I mean? Like, again, I'm always out celebrating life because I'm always comparing myself to the people that can't, and looking at my position, and that's the perspective I want to give everybody.
That's good. You have a very positive outlook on the whole diabetes.
I'm having a ball. Life has been beautiful.
Wonderful. Yeah, less than 10% of patients actually get diabetes education, which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, but like I didn't want to sit around school, so I definitely wasn't. You know what I mean? So at that age, not at that age, like it's hard to teach somebody something like for people like the average person. Like the only person I really know and the kind of people that juggle their diabetes is really OCD. But the average person's attention span, it's hard to have them just sit down and focus and just learn right there in the moment. It sort of has to be absorbed.
Yes.
Like like when I make music, and sometimes I listen to music, and after 9 times I unconsciously know the words.
Yeah.
So that's the way I want to present the education. That way it's like you're being taught. It's just where you're absorbing because you're entertained, but you watch it so many times that you just know it. Unconsciously. It's nothing that has to feel like obligation or corny or square. Like you don't feel like you're going to school when you look at television, or when you listen to music, or when you're entertained. So that's when you slip into knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you have to meet the patient where they're at. Sometimes, they're not ready to start being active. So we work on teaching carbs or whatever, maybe whatever changes they could do at that time. That's why it's good that they have it over a long term, and I try to do that with my patients and see where they're at. If I have a patient that's eating 150 grams a meal, I say, okay, what can we take away, or what can we, change, to make it doable. We don't want to teach to, you have to do this, this, and that, because we know it doesn't work, just like you said. We have to find a way to meet that patient.
I mean, I think what I find that works to get people conscious is if you can really show them an experience that's happened.
Yes.
So, for example, a friend of mine knew that he was sick, and they told him they had to take one of his toes, and he didn't do it because he played basketball, and he was playing basketball, and he ended up catching a blood clot. He had a hole in his foot. He ended up dying. And he was a great athlete. He wasn't a person that you would think would have something that was ailing them like that. So, before someone has to lose a toe or their life, maybe if they see what the future could look like, if they don't take care of it, then maybe it'll make them conscious. You know what I'm saying? So, just also going into the field and talking to other diabetics and seeing what people are insecure about, what makes people what they care about, just understanding how to deliver the information and in what ways.
Absolutely.
But initially, I just started with my natural experience because I could talk most intelligently about the things that I've done. You know what I mean?
And you have type 1, correct?
Type 1.
Okay. So
The gangster kind. the 10 needles a day kind.
That's
Plus,
right.
you got to test your blood all day.
Yeah.
But, the sophistications and the innovations that have come with the diabetes, for someone that's had it so long, it almost feels like a cure. Like before, you had to prick your fingers all day. Now you could just look at it, and it tells you when it's going up and then down. There's an alarm, And now
Absolutely.
the Afrezza with the innovation is not only that you don't have to break skin with a needle, but the innovation is the insulin works in 15 minutes. So if your blood sugar's high, let's say it's at 300, and you go through the skin, you inject it, it's going to take at least an hour for it to hit your system. So your body's not going to start going down. And if you don't have any food in your body or carbs in your body at the time, you're going to get a low. But with the Afrezza, it starts to work in 15 minutes, and it's out of your body in an hour. So you don't have as many lows, because there's no insulin just sitting around. It's short term, and that's the innovation. It's like two things, you know what I mean? Like it's been like a game changer. Plus, and with the Dexcom, like that together, that 2-piece right there, it's like having a pancreas.
Absolutely. So we've come a long way from
100, yeah. I mean, I still have to take 1 shot a day. I take my long lasting. I take a Trigella.
Okay.
Trigella, I think.
Toujeo.
Or Toujeo. I'm taking a Toujeo. And then also, in being a diabetic, it affects the people you love. Like, it's like giving them the disease as well. So, if I didn't have my right hand, my wifey for lifey, Raquel Horn, it would be really hard for me to manage. I wouldn't even been at the doctor's office to find out about the Afrezza. So also showcasing their perspective. Like cooking is a big thing. Like if you're not because like generally speaking, to be a diabetic, you just have to live healthy. So I got lucky enough to get with a healthy woman, and she loves being healthy. She was going to impose that on me, diabetic or not. So she's very conscious of the foods we eat. and making sure that I don't have so many carbs or the ones that don't react later and things of that nature. But she's like that with the dogs and all that. So showcasing their perspective as well and what they do to make it where their life can maintain being normal. Showing that, you know, even down to the clothes, like you got to have clothes with pockets because you have so many apparatuses around. So you got to have those kind of things, or pockets with zippers. Because, you know, when you fly, you want to wear sweatpants. You can't have stuff. So all of those things are showcased, even down to like, it's expensive being diabetic. You know, if you don't have insurance, it's $1,000 a month. If you do have insurance, it's $1,000 a month. You know what I mean? So at some point, you have to understand the entrepreneurship in it. You have to. It's like you need gas to breathe, to drive. So you have to be able to afford it. And I've been in positions where it's like my last money and I'm out of insulin, and that has to go to the insulin. You know what I mean? And not had insurance. If it hadn't been for Wifey for Lifey, I probably would still be running reckless. I wouldn't have any insurance. You know what I'm saying? So even understanding that, and then also understanding how to talk to your insurance. Yes. You know, like people think that because like I'm a 1% of diabetes supplies, meaning I got all the best things, that it's not affordable, it's not attainable. And it is. You just have to know how to talk to your insurance. Absolutely. Know what kind of policies to get. Know who to go to and who not to go to. And then also because of the misconceptions, like when I post things up on Instagram about being diabetic, there's always someone that's going to say you can take like naturopathic medicine and take teas and herbs and you can cure diabetes. And I'm like, yo, bro, you're not diabetic. You show me a type 1. So what I've done is I brought traditional doctors in the same room and had the conversation with naturopathic doctors and let them both present what the treatments. Oh, you saw that? Yeah. So you get to make your own choice, you know, and have them say it in front of each other and see what a naturopathic doctor will say in front of a real doctor. Correct. And if all that stuff they selling is real. Yes. You know what I mean? And I don't think it's a game people should play with because that's people's health. Absolutely. So you should be telling someone they could get healed and they can't just so you can make $1. I'm not with that.
Yeah, there's so many misconceptions, you know, especially more with type 2. You know, they think, oh yeah, if I buy this diabetes product, right, it's going to help lower my blood sugar. Or right, if I buy this product, it's really going to help me. So I'm glad that you're doing that because there's so many misconceptions. And I get calls from patients all the time. Oh, I heard if I start, you know, what was the latest one? I think, oh, if I eat, you know, 120 milligrams of cinnamon a day, then I'm going to lower my blood
cinnamon, sugar. It's so many, you know. Bottom line is if you're type 1, your body doesn't make insulin. Correct. There's nothing, either way, like you could have a diet that controls it a little better so you don't have to have so much intake of insulin, but you always going to have to put insulin in your body. Type 2 is where you don't make enough insulin to cover the carbs in your body. So you could work out and change your diet and that could be cured at some point, some way, shape, or form, but there's a distinct difference between the two.
Correct, and I think a lot of people don't realize that there's such a difference.
Big difference.
Yes. You know, type 1, it's, you know, an autoimmune.
It's not curing, yeah.
And, you know,
there's nothing you can do about it.
Exactly. And type 2, you know, we might have some genetic tendencies for it, but hopefully with lifestyle, being a little more active, watching our carb portions, we can hopefully maybe delay it from becoming diabetes if you're diagnosed with prediabetes.
Well, I think what people really need to understand is the number one cause of type 2 is food. You know, it's what you're putting in your body is really what's killing you. And that's what I've done after we started the DASH Diabetes Network. We did a lot of research and started looking at a lot of documentaries, and what we found was the number one cause of sickness is food, and not eating natural food and eating, you know, GMO and preservatives and you know. So I think that's a big part, is making people understand that, you know, food will kill you. Correct. You know, that food shouldn't be an escape if it's going to kill you. You know what I mean? And understanding that. So that's also something that we try to showcase, as well as it's just really what's causing these things.
Absolutely. I saw some of your recipes. I was going to try the cauliflower press pizza.
That's all Raquel.
But absolutely, because I think we can relate in both of our cultures. You know, it's usually higher fat, higher sugar content foods that we kind of gravitate to. And, you know, I was taught that as a child, that's normal. You can have a soda, you can have this, you know. So I really think we have to change that culture and really encourage patients to eat healthier, eat more fruits and vegetables, you know, avoid the sweet
and make sure they're organic.
Yes.
That's the number one thing, is not to have anything genetically modified in your body. Those preservatives kill you and give you cancer, and they make it where your body doesn't work. You know, so I think that's also the awareness, is just understanding you're going to buy food. If you're going to like spend your money on an expensive car or a chain and put cheap food in your body, absolutely, that doesn't add up. You know what I mean? If you want to do everything expensive, make sure your food is the best. That should be the main concern, and what you give your children. So if you're feeding your kids fast food and they get diabetes, and you're like, well, why do they get diabetes? It's because you just gave them McDonald's for the last 3 years. 4 years, you know, because of all of the sugar, you know, all the things that you're giving them that's not natural. Because you could have just went to Whole Foods or the farmer's market. It's not even that expensive to go to the farmer's market. You know what I mean? And that's the education that people aren't giving.
Absolutely. So with the freezer, you feel you have more flexibility? Because I know your lifestyle.
You're in the steering wheel. You're in the steering wheel. Like,
Okay.
see, I'll show you. What I'm gonna do is keep it in the pocket. It's way cooler. You don't have to stick out a needle. Because I'm the type of person, I'm going to take the needle regardless. I don't care who's
Good.
looking. Where most people are ashamed. A lot of people that I know that are diabetic don't like to speak on it. And I don't understand that. You know, I think it makes you so much cooler. Because you got to deal with things. So this is a packet. This is the way I look at it is if I'm eating a large meal,
Okay.
a small meal, or medium.
So you're not counting carbs with this. You're just kind
Well,
of.
you can't generally, but that's what makes it so much simpler. It's big, small, and medium. You know.
Okay.
So if I have a larger meal, I'll take these. This is considered 12 units, but it's not the equivalent of 12
Yes.
units. It's
I
not
know
the
there's a
same thing.
difference.
And if I'm taking a medium meal, these are the 8.
Perfect.
And if I'm taking a small meal, I'll take the 4.
Okay.
And then you just, you know, I don't need it right now. Remember I showed you I don't
Yes.
have a reaction. So, but you just put them in there,
Yeah.
and you're like, and you're done.
Yeah.
And that looks cool. Like people think it's a vape. You know, they want some. I'd be like, nah, you can't get none of this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so it makes it with, it's just a different kind of rhythm.
Okay.
You know, but again, it hits you in 15 minutes. You're good. You know what I mean? It's out your body in an hour.
So do you see those high spikes after your meals or not?
Yeah,
too high?
I mean, you can see everything. There's no high spike really. Like my method is I just get my sugar real low. So if I'm down to 70 and then I eat, once I see it getting up to like 120, you know, then and if the arrow's up, then I know to give myself something.
Okay.
But you know, an alarm goes off at 150, and then for when that just tells me it's about to be high, and then it also goes off if it's low. So last night I was asleep, and Rocky actually woke me up because she was like, "Yo, your alarm is going off and it's not high." So I was like, "It's all right." And she was like, no, look at that. And I looked, and it was the arrows were pointing low, going down, and my blood sugar was at a 70.
Oh, so you knew it was dropping.
Shit, I'm glad I didn't wake up at a 50. That's the worst. Or shit, I might not wake up at all. You know what I mean? So, number one, if my partner wasn't aware, she gave me the assist. She knew what the high beat was and the low beat. And you need that kind of support.
Absolutely.
And if she hadn't done that, it could have been a way worse situation. I was able to get up and she said, get up and go get some juice. I don't even want to see you in a pool of sweat. You know, see, that's my blood sugar there going high. Let me see.
Yeah.
So that was perfect. So this is what happens. This is the method. So
And it's
I'll show
neat
you.
because you can link that to somebody else's
Not
phone
can.
too.
She has it.
Yeah.
She has it. Everyone in my
Yes.
office has it. All the women in my life have it because they're the only ones that care. So see, it's at 152.
Wow, you have it set at 152.
So
Okay.
it went off at 150, but see, being that this is going this
You're
way,
steady.
I'm steady, so I'm cool at 152. But if it was going up, I'd have hit myself with a 4.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But if I hit myself with a 4 now, I might end up sweating in about 15 minutes.
We don't want that.